She was the epitome of perfection, a beacon of grace and elegance, always put together, always smiling. Her demeanor was a testament to her unwavering commitment to excellence. Her life appeared flawless, a carefully curated masterpiece for the world to admire. Every corner of her home, every aspect of her life was meticulously arranged to project an image of unblemished perfection. She lived for the approval of others, her own needs buried deep beneath layers of societal expectations and personal sacrifices. Every decision, every action was calculated to please. From the clothes she wore to the meals she prepared, everything was designed to meet the expectations of those around her. But beneath the surface, a storm brewed. The constant pressure to maintain this facade took its toll, leaving her feeling isolated and overwhelmed. The weight of expectations pressed down, threatening to shatter her carefully constructed facade. The pristine image she projected was a fragile shell, hiding the turmoil within. She excelled at work, climbing the corporate ladder with unwavering determination. Her professional achievements were a source of pride, yet they came at a personal cost. Her personal life mirrored this success, or so it seemed. To the outside world, she was the epitome of balance, seamlessly juggling her career and family responsibilities. She was the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect friend. Her days were filled with endless tasks, each one executed with precision and care, yet a nagging emptiness lingered in her heart. Despite her outward success, she felt a profound sense of loneliness and dissatisfaction, a void that no amount of external validation could fill. She longed for something more, a deeper connection, a sense of purpose that went beyond the superficial accolades and praise. The first crack appeared subtly, a tremor in her carefully controlled world. Stress manifested in sleepless nights and persistent headaches. Her once bright eyes now held a weary, haunted look. She pushed harder, ignoring the warning signs, desperate to maintain the illusion of control. The pressure mounted at work, demanding more of her time and energy. Deadlines loomed, each one a battle to be won. She sacrificed sleep, meals, and moments of joy in pursuit of achievement. Her once fulfilling career now felt like a suffocating cage. Then the unthinkable happened. The company downsized, and her position, once considered secure, was eliminated. The rug was pulled out from under her, leaving her reeling in shock and disbelief. Her carefully constructed world began to crumble. Her health deteriorated further. The stress manifested physically, weakening her immune system. She battled a series of infections, each one leaving her weaker than before. The vibrant energy that once defined her was replaced by a pervasive exhaustion. Even her usually unwavering smile seemed strained and brittle. As her physical and emotional reserves dwindled, she found herself sinking deeper into a state of exhaustion. The once vibrant energy that fueled her daily life was now a distant memory, replaced by a heavy, unshakable fatigue. Each day felt like an insurmountable challenge, and the weight of her struggles seemed to grow heavier with every passing moment. So too did the support of those she had strived so hard to please. Her friends, who once surrounded her with laughter and companionship, now seemed to drift away, unable to understand the depth of her pain. She watched as they continued with their lives, seemingly oblivious to her silent cries for help. Her husband, overwhelmed by her sudden vulnerability, grew distant and withdrawn. The man who had once been her rock now seemed like a stranger, lost in his own confusion and helplessness. Their conversations became strained, filled with unspoken words and lingering tension. The emotional chasm between them widened, leaving her feeling more isolated than ever. Her friends, accustomed to her strength and independence, seemed unsure how to help. They hesitated, unsure of how to bridge the gap that had formed between them. Their well-meaning attempts at comfort often fell flat, leaving her feeling even more misunderstood and alone. She felt utterly alone, adrift in a sea of despair. The world around her continued to move forward, but she remained stuck in a place of darkness and hopelessness. Every effort to reach out seemed futile, and the isolation she felt was suffocating. Adrift in a sea of despair, she sought solace in the quiet moments of reflection. The vastness of the ocean mirrored the emptiness she felt inside, and the endless horizon seemed to mock her sense of directionless wandering. She longed for a beacon of light to guide her through the storm. One evening, as darkness enveloped her world both literally and figuratively, she found herself in a moment of profound stillness. The quiet of the night amplified her thoughts, and the shadows seemed to close in around her. It was in this moment of deep introspection that she stumbled upon something unexpected. She stumbled across an old family Bible, tucked away in a forgotten corner of her home. The sight of it brought back memories of her grandmother, a woman whose faith had been a guiding light in her life. It had belonged to her grandmother, a woman of quiet faith who had always emanated a sense of peace. Her grandmother's unwavering belief had been a source of comfort and strength, and she hoped to find some of that same solace within the pages of the Bible. A woman of quiet faith who had always emanated a sense of peace. With trembling hands, she opened the worn pages, searching for solace. The familiar scent of the old book brought a sense of nostalgia, and she felt a connection to her grandmother's enduring spirit. She opened the worn pages, searching for solace, for a glimmer of hope in the abyss of her despair. As she read the comforting words, she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. The verses spoke to her heart, offering a sense of peace and reassurance that she had longed for a glimmer of hope in the abyss of her despair. The words of faith and love began to mend the broken pieces of her spirit, and she realized that she was not as alone as she had thought. The whispers of hope from the past began to guide her towards a brighter future. As she read the ancient words, a profound sense of peace washed over her. The words seemed to leap off the page, resonating deeply within her soul. Each sentence felt like a gentle caress, soothing the turmoil that had long plagued her heart. She had always sought solace in books, but this was different. This was a connection to something greater, something timeless. It was as if a warm light had entered the darkness of her being, offering comfort and reassurance. The light seemed to chase away the shadows that had lingered for so long, filling her with a sense of hope she hadn't felt in years. It was a light that promised new beginnings, a fresh start. She felt as though she was being gently guided towards a path she had always been meant to walk. That night, for the first time in her life, she truly prayed. It wasn't a prayer of desperation or a plea for help, but a conversation with the divine. She spoke from her heart, sharing her deepest thoughts and feelings. It was a moment of vulnerability, a moment of surrender. She felt a connection, a presence that listened and understood. She poured out her heart, her fears, her pain, and her desperate longing for healing. Every tear that fell was a release, a letting go of the burdens she had carried for so long. She felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Her prayer was not just words, but a heartfelt plea for transformation, for a new beginning. And then, something extraordinary happened. In the stillness of the night, she felt a shift within her. It was subtle at first, like a gentle breeze, but it grew stronger, enveloping her in a cocoon of warmth and love. She felt a presence, a divine energy that filled her with peace and serenity. It was a moment of clarity, a moment of realization that she was not alone. She felt an overwhelming sense of love surround her, a love so pure and unconditional that it brought tears to her eyes. It was a love that accepted her as she was, flaws and all. It was a love that healed, that mended the broken pieces of her heart. She felt embraced, held in a way she had never experienced before. It was a love that transcended the physical, reaching deep into her soul. It was as if a divine hand had reached down and touched her soul, whispering words of comfort and hope. She felt a sense of reassurance, a promise that everything would be okay. It was a moment of divine intervention, a moment that changed her forever. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, a clarity that had eluded her for so long. She knew that she was on the right path, that she was being guided by a higher power. This was her turning point. It was the moment she realized that she was not alone, that she was loved and supported by a force greater than herself. It was a moment of empowerment, a moment of awakening. She felt a strength within her that she had never known before. She was ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that she was not alone. The moment she surrendered her need for control and allowed herself to be vulnerable, to be loved, was the moment she found true freedom. She let go of her fears, her doubts, and embraced the love that surrounded her. She felt a sense of liberation, a sense of peace. She knew that she was on a journey of healing, a journey of self-discovery, and she was ready to embrace it with open arms. This encounter sparked a profound transformation within her. She began to understand that her worth was not tied to her achievements or the approval of others. She was worthy of love simply because she existed, imperfections and all. This realization was both liberating and terrifying. She embarked on a journey of self-discovery, exploring the depths of her own heart and mind. She began to unpack the years of conditioning that had led her to believe that her worth was contingent on her ability to please others. She started to peel back the layers of perfectionism, revealing the raw, vulnerable woman beneath. This process of self-discovery wasn't easy. It was painful at times, forcing her to confront uncomfortable truths about herself and the choices she had made. But it was also incredibly liberating. As she shed the weight of others' expectations, she began to experience a level of freedom she had never thought possible. She started to prioritize her own well-being. She made time for activities that brought her joy, things she had long neglected in her quest for external validation. She reconnected with her faith, finding solace and strength in prayer and meditation. And slowly but surely, she began to heal. Her physical health improved as her emotional well-being flourished. She realized that the two were inextricably linked. The chronic stress that had plagued her for so long began to dissipate, replaced by a newfound sense of peace and vitality. She felt more alive than she had in years. She discovered the power of her own thoughts. She learned to challenge negative self-talk and replace it with affirmations of love and self-compassion. She realized that she had the ability to choose her thoughts and, in doing so, to shape her reality. Her transformation was evident to everyone around her. Her forced smile was replaced by a genuine radiance that emanated from deep within. She carried herself with a newfound confidence, no longer seeking validation from external sources. She had discovered the wellspring of love and acceptance that resided within her own heart. Her relationships with others shifted as well. She no longer felt the need to please or impress. She set healthy boundaries, prioritizing her own well-being without guilt or apology. Her relationships became more authentic, based on mutual respect and love, rather than the need for approval. The woman who had once been lost in a maze of perfectionism and self-doubt had found her way back to herself. She had embarked on a journey into the depths of her own being and emerged stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever before. She had discovered the kingdom within, a place of infinite love, healing, and possibility. And as she moved forward in her life, she did so with love as her compass, guiding her every step of the way. She had learned that the greatest love story she would ever experience was the one she shared with herself.